welcome. I'm Peggy, and today, yes, we're in the kitchen, but we have some life-saving information. And we're not doing a recipe like we usually do, but the information that we give can change your life and make us all feel better. And I'm just thrilled to have with me Rebecca McKinney. Now, Rebecca is the executive director of the South Carolina Organization for Organic Living. Now, this is not some dramatic thing that you have to do, but little by little, you and I can learn things we can do every day to make our life better and what we eat probably a lot better for us. And you can save money at the same time. So she has so many titles that it would take 15 minutes to go through them all. But I wanted to say welcome, Rebecca. Thank you. Bless you for coming and sharing your knowledge with us.
I'm glad to be here.
And more people are starting to garden. People even who live in apartments and condos, you can do container gardening. And not are they just doing posies, they're doing food.
And you know, that's a really important movement, I think. We're going to show you a really nice container setup today, but you can really grow in anything. You can grow in the 1-gallon pots that you maybe get your chrysanthemums from at the home stores, or you can, I know stories of people who've grown in cans or tins. As long as you poke holes in the bottom and put soil in it, you can grow in it.
But it's how you grow it that makes the difference when you put it on the table.
It does.
And you are certainly an advocate for organic. And I guess what is the difference between a tomato that has been grown in your way, in the organic way, and one that you buy in the grocery store?
Well, if something's certified organic, it has to be grown to certain standards, and that means that you're not using synthetic or chemical fertilizers and pesticides. You can still use some pesticides, but they're much, much less toxic to us and for the environment. But people who are growing organically also are concerned about preserving the environment and improving soil and water quality, because the quality of the soil really makes a difference in the nutrients that find their way into our vegetables. And so something that an organic farmer might do is, instead of spraying, plant a bank of plants that support beneficial insects that might be predators of the pests that you're looking at, or that support pollinators. So it's a gentler view. And for us, that means that we aren't ingesting those pesticides and those herbicides, which, you know, if I handed you a cup, even diluted, you wouldn't want to drink it. So we certainly don't want that in our food.
All right. So now what is all this? This looks like something you could do on a porch or on a
Well, it is. And
patio.
One of my jobs, I work for Bon Secours St. Francis Health System, and we do a lot of outreach, and we use these earth boxes. A lot of times we have the larger ones, and in those you can grow tomatoes. And just in case someone has a larger one or plans to buy one, I will tell you, they come with casters, and you do want to put those casters on before you do anything else, because they're so heavy when you fill them.
All right.
This is the container garden for the person who thinks that he or she can't grow anything and doesn't have a green thumb.
You're looking at somebody like that.
You can grow with this. So what this system is, and I'm going to take some things out and just show you what the inside looks like. And this looks like just an ordinary plastic box. I feel like I'm going to be a magician here. It looks like just an ordinary plastic box. But you will see there is an overflow chamber here.
Okay.
And what this does is it has a reservoir in the bottom.
It has a little hole at the end where things can seep out.
Yes, yes. And so what we're going to do is we'll show you how to water, but there will be water in the bottom of this. And then you have this rack, and your soil will go on top of this. And you won't lose as much of it through the holes as you would think. And this hole is for a watering tube. And you will water through this tube. And that water will go directly in the reservoir. Now, it's really, really important that when you put this together, you put this tube in before you put the soil in. Otherwise, you'll never get it in. And so we're going to set this down.
So it goes in the bottom of the...
Yes. And this is what I'm going to turn it so everybody can see. And this is what the rack looks like. And your watering tube is going to go in here. And so, and I wanted to show everybody what the front of this looks like. It comes with wonderful instructions.
Hold it still so we can get a shot of it.
It has wonderful instructions, and it tells you what you can grow. And so, for example, you'll have 3 pepper plants, 4 lettuce plants, and it tells you exactly what's appropriate for this. No guesswork. Now, we also, for this overflow, you want to put these someplace where you won't have water running out that you don't want it to be. So, for example, if you're on a patio and you don't care if it runs out the overflow, that's one thing. If you have this inside or on a wooden porch, we have a cup that we'll put right here, and it will catch the water that runs out. The larger ones don't come with those, but you can put a cup
Would
underneath.
you not leave this outside? You
I
could do
would.
this and just leave it out, you know, where you put plants in the yard, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, and it's good if you have really compacted soil and you can't plant, or there's a reason you can't till your yard. Maybe there's a homeowners association restriction. If you have limited mobility, they do make stands for these, or you can put them on a table like we have here, so you don't have to bend over and garden.
right.
So this is for anybody. So the holes that you saw in here are where we start, and we want to put really moist soil in those because it starts that wicking action.
See, the soil is the basic thing that you need to look for, right?
It is, and I will tell you that I got this kit at South Pleasantburg Nursery, and you can buy them online. They didn't have the organic in the junior size, but they do in the larger. So instead of using the fertilizers that came with it and a non-fertilized soil, I brought an organic soil mix with some fertilizers already mixed in, and you will not need to, and again, this is organic, and you won't need to feed your plants for about 3 months after you put this in. And you really want to make sure that you don't put extra fertilizer in, because one of the biggest issues we hear about is somebody will come and say, my plant is so beautiful and green and leafy, but it doesn't have a pepper or a tomato on it. And that usually means you've given it too much nitrogen, too much fertilizer, and so it's beautiful, but it's not giving you what you want.
Okay. So now where do you get this soil? Do you buy organic soil?
This
already
I
to
do,
use?
I do. And this is, I picked this up again at I got everything at South Pleasantburg
right.
Nursery, but there are, most of the home stores and nurseries and, are carrying organic soil mixes
So if
now.
you go to buy, you know, ask for, what do you have that is organic soil?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people are glad
it
to
out.
help. This is a growing trend, especially in our area, so you will not have difficulty finding it. And so what we do is we're going to pack the soil down into the
I've never
holes.
seen anything quite like this.
It's the neatest system. We do a lot of work with these systems, and people rave about it. I hear stories about a farmer in Florida who farmed only with earth boxes.
Oh my.
Yes, that's quite a thought. And the only reason we're packing this down in, again, is to start the wicking action, and then we just start adding the soil. And I'm already glad we have a
So
tablecloth
now you
down.
pack those little
The little
crevices.
yes, we
and
do.
then you put the rest of this in.
And I will tell you that all of this information, they have wonderful directions. It's all available in a step-by-step. They tell you how to do it with a peat-based mixture that doesn't have fertilizer and adding their fertilizer. This works just as well. What I'm finding is it's harder and harder to find a soil mix that doesn't already have some sort of fertilizer in it, organic or not. I even looked for plain peat moss last year.
Very
and
dark.
couldn't find it.
Rich looking.
It
soil.
is, and this is, plants are very, very happy. I've used this, this is an organic potting soil, and I've used this for the last couple of years for, I divide and give away a lot of herbs and flowers and perennial vegetables, and this is my go-to mix. And I brought 2 buckets because I knew we'd need them. If you were doing this yourself at home, the directions are going to tell you eventually to mound this about 2 inches above. We're not going to do that today.
Well, that looks pretty full to me.
What will
need more
happen,
in there?
we do, and what's going to happen
right.
is that it will settle over time.
Oh.
And so you do want this to be fairly full, and we're going to try just shaking this in a little bit, seeing if we can get it going a little faster there. put just a little bit more in.
I can see why you said it would be heavy.
It's going, you know, if we mounded this over the top, it would take every bit of these, and it isn't bad carrying these with two hands, but this will be a you know, a one-handed job. And so normally, again, we would put more soil in, but we're gonna stop it at that point. And I will tell you that if you'd like, these do come with covers, and I think I'm going to take my gloves off to open this, that you can put over the top that helps keep the soil from drying out on top, and it also helps keep the weeds down. And it has a hole for this, and the dark side will bring more heat for cool season vegetables if you felt like you needed it. We'll need to turn the white side up in summer because it gets much too hot. And it just goes on. It's like putting a shower cap on your...
So that's all you do to it. But now, wait a minute. You haven't put anything in there to grow.
Well, and here's what... I don't use this, so I am going to take it off. But if you want to put plants in here, you put this on first, and then we'll cut an X where you want the plants. And
Well, then
you'll
you just
plant them
leave
in.
this on. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I like most people...
I'm learning. I never saw anything quite like this.
This is very different. Most people I know like growing without this cover. If it rains, rain actually provides nutrients for the plants. It doesn't just water them, and I like that to be able to soak in.
Okay.
So we have these lovely lettuce plants.
All right. We have to go to a break. Is this a good time?
This
while
is a
you're
good
all
time,
right.
yes.
Let me just say that if you want information, we have it. And there are 2 sheets here that tell of events that are coming up and also of places that you can go to find out more about organic raising vegetables, flowers, whatever happens to be your passion. And this is life-changing information. And you can do a little bit of it or you can do all of it. But anything you do is a step forward. Now, if you would like this, if you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope and send it to the Peggy Denny Show, Post Office Box 1616, Greenville, South Carolina, 29602, and just put on there organic, and we'll know what it is you want, and we'll be glad to share with you. And when we come back, we will also have a phone number and a website. We'll just leave it up there. And we'll go into a quick break and come back because we have good stuff to share with you.